Hey guys, it's future me. Well, this video is future me, my own personal past me. This is just confusing, but letting you know, I'm going to leave a timestamp if you're here just for the review. Otherwise, if you want to see the actual like reading vloggy part of this, keep on watching. Hey everyone, it's Bethany from Beth and Books and welcome back to another reading vlog. Oh my gosh, I haven't done one of these in so long and I'm really excited because I'm going to be reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Now I can actually remember the title because I have it in front of me. I bought my very own copy. There was a good old book sale for Queen's birthday weekend, so I hooked myself up and I'm really excited to read this. Okay, so firstly, as you're probably aware, this is the prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy, and this is following President Snow, and it's essentially his origin story. There was a lot of contention amongst book lovers when the content and the character focus of this book came out. My humble opinion is that maybe this book was judged too harshly before anyone had had the chance to read it. I understand if you are disappointed in terms of like plot wise, but I don't think anyone can say that it's definitively going to be bad or not until you've actually read it yourself. Snack? I want a snack. Snack acquired. Also, I should probably mention this might contain small spoilers for the Hunger Games actual trilogy. I'll try to keep it minimal spoilery though. What are my pre-reading thoughts? One of the questions, one of the things I want some enlightenment around is specifically why President Snow and his mouth always smells like blood. It was revealed in the third book of the Hunger Games trilogy that he always carries a flower to mask the scent of his breath, which is bloody. And I just want a bit more backstory behind that. I do think I'll enjoy this book. I do love Suzanne Collins's writing. My only thing is I hope that her intro isn't too like long and stretched out. Before I go into the rest of the reading vlog portion of this video, I just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out and some recognition towards this company called Winning Writers, and they run a competition called the North Street Book Prize, and what that is an opportunity for self-published writers to get their name and work out there. In 2019, they awarded a total of $10,750 towards multiple participants in the competition, and this year there are going to be 13 winners who will be awarded a total prize pool fund of $12,500, with the winner themselves going away with $5,000. If you're interested in entering this competition, I'll leave a link down below for you there. So with that being said, let's read some bookish goodness. 100-page check-in into old Suzanne Collins, and I have to say I'm quite pleasantly surprised. I got to page 1 and then the next thing I knew it was page 100. I'm quite enjoying Connie, how do I actually say his name? I keep just like shortening it in my head, in my reading voice, so it's like a nickname. So it's Coriolanus Snow, and in my mind I just skip the Corio and keep calling him Lannis. But anyway, I am pleasantly surprised with how this is going, but for now I am going to go back on Trade Me and have a look and see if there's any new books secondhand for sale to add to my little collection. Let me show you. I've got oh, did you see Edward Cullen fella has been cast as the new Batman?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for a few more like items to come, but this is my current collection of books that I have to haul. There was a sale on, and then I found secondhand books on Trade Me, and it's just evolved. But keep an eye out because there will be a haul coming. Hopefully by the time you see this, a week maybe later, a week after you see this, you'll see all these unboxed. Good morning, it is a new day and I am actually at the local plaza because I'm about to go to my appointment, but then I'm going to meet up with Mum and we're going to have a little coffee date together. It's going to be really nice. But I just wanted to update you on the reading situation. I am 200 pages in and I'm surprised at how much I'm liking it. I thought with all the negative hype around it, it might have been based off of something, but honestly, I'm enjoying it. I am a bit confused and concerned about when Snow is going to be bad. Like, when's his, what's going to be his trigger that makes him bad. I've got my predictions. I've got some thoughts in my head. I hope they don't come to fruition because I think that would make for a very basic plot line for a good person to an enemy's person story arc, but I better go so I'm not late. I'll see you soon. Alright, so I am back from a little lunch with Mum. It was really lovely. Reese, the brother, ended up joining us too. Okay, that's the best I can do. So, I was on Trade Me the other day and I bought myself this second-hand pair of loafers and they're just a little bit too big for me. So I got myself some insoles and I'm hoping that makes them fit. Shoe update, these are them. So I have put in the insoles and they also have a little thing on the back. And now I can walk around and they don't move off my ankle. So happy with that, yay. And then I also got this really cute black, oh that's upside down, black blouse. Oh, you can actually kind of see in the sunlight, it's like got this polka dot and then it's got this beautiful little embroidered sleeve here, which I could not say no to. And then I also got myself this skirt. I just have a thing about like plaid patterns at the moment and it's just super cute. It's one of the new colours in my wardrobe and I'm trying to keep my wardrobe very centred around a central colour palette. So for me that's like creams and browns and whites, blacks, sometimes greys if they look like expensive enough. Some greys I think can look quite cheap. And then for my colours it's blue, a camo kind of green and purple, so very cool tone, and it just has made getting up in the morning and getting dressed so much easier because everything just goes together. So that's lovely. For the rest of the day my plan is to film a video. There's going to be a upcoming Excited for Books video soon, so keep your eyes out for that. I'm going to film that and then I'm just going to keep on reading. It's another day. I haven't been doing anything exciting. It's currently 2:40. We've literally cleaned the house and then did grocery shopping. No one wants to see that. So letting you know, here we go. Bookish update. The reason why we are here is I'm up to part 3, which is page 320. So I'm less than 200 pages till finishing this bad boy. And I've gotten to a point in the story where the Hunger Games, of which Snow was a mentor for, has completed, which I'm surprised we've still got so many pages left since then, but it seems like things are going to go down now. He still hasn't become necessarily a bad person and I'm just waiting for whatever it is that will trigger him to trigger him. It's going to be an interesting one. I've enjoyed it so far, but I'm scared these last few pages are going to make me dislike it. So my plan right now is to literally sit down and get these last bits done. Morning team, I've got a couple of minutes before I need to set off for work, so I just thought that I would pop in and give you like a immediate finish reading the book thought. Excuse the washing. So I did finish the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes last night and how do I explain this? I really liked the first like 300-ish pages. And in the last 200 pages, I feel like all the oomph went out of it. I was expecting more of a like whole story arc from Snow, but where it finished, it feels like there's meant to be another one, like a 0.5 in the series before we get to the Hunger Games, because ultimately Snow's story, no spoilers by the way, but Snow's story feels incomplete. There is a whole lot of questions that have risen up in my mind now. Oh, hang on. Kind of the same vibes from when I read The Toll in that, but reversed. So with The Toll, I really liked the last few hundred pages, but the first half made it really hard for me to get into. With this one, I quite enjoyed the first like 60% of it, and then it just went a bit downhill for me, unfortunately. I'm going to let all of my own personal thoughts settle, and I'll come back with you guys probably later tonight with a full-on review with all of my critiques and highlights. Okay team, so it is technically I think 2 days since I last finished reading the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and here is the spoiler-free review section of the video. I've got my notes here, so if you see me glancing down, that's what that's all about. I guess I should probably give a quick summary. This is book 0 of the Hunger Games. We follow Snow, and we follow him as he is a student learning to help make the Hunger Games more televised and more popular. And he ends up being the mentor for the girl tribute from District 12, whose name is Lucy Gray, and she ends up being this really colourful songbird who likes to sing and is part of what used to be a travelling group of singers and performers before everyone got like shunted into their districts during the original like rebel uprising. And essentially we follow Snow as he starts off from his family background where he has recently been orphaned and he's just having to survive after the war, and part of that is keeping up images even though they can't afford the rent on their apartment. And then after that we see as he is an active mentor for Lucy Gray, and then that Hunger Games ends and we follow him after that. So let's start with like my overall thoughts and my star rating. I am going to give The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes 4 stars, and I think what happened with me is that I knew that lots of people didn't like it, and part of me in a twisted way didn't want to like it as well, because you know that's what everyone else is like, and I wanted to be able to have a little bit of a rant about something. But the reality is I actually relatively enjoyed this. In terms of my enjoyment and interest factor, my favourite part of this book was like maybe the first 300 pages, and then after that the last 200 pages my interest started to wane. Let's answer that question I had at the beginning. Do we learn why Snow supposedly always smells of blood? Not exactly. That was not, that personal question of mine was not answered, but we do find out that his grandmother really, really loved roses, so that's part of where that stemmed from. Punny. I actually really enjoyed reading about Snow before he became so involved in the games, and I thought it was interesting to see that he himself actually came from a place of near poverty. That's not really a spoiler, it happens in the first few pages. We see that side of him. Compared to how we know him now, he's like obviously this infamously rich, powerful man, and I was just super intrigued by his character. I thought that Suzanne Collins had done a really good job with him in terms of building him up to be a character that had like a interesting moral compass, and sometimes he could be a unreliable narrator, but it just highlighted the climate that everyone in Panem was living in at the time. I also really enjoyed Lucy Gray. I thought she was just really colourful, just a really interesting person. We also have a whole host of other secondary characters, and I just thought they were interestingly normal. Like, they were fine, there was nothing too amazing about them, but they had me intrigued enough, and I thought that they were given enough of a backstory, enough of a reason to be there, that they didn't feel like placeholders. In terms of the relationship, there is kind of a romantic subplot between Snow and Lucy. Personally, I didn't really care for it. I kind of wish that Snow was more wanting to do best by Lucy because of some more malicious kind of wanting to be powerful, wanting to help win the games viewpoint, rather than I want her to survive because I love her viewpoint. Which brings me on quite nicely to my critique, the part of the book that stops me giving it 5 stars, and that is simply so much has been left unsaid. I feel like we were kind of promised his villain origin story, and this book isn't that. This is almost a prequel to what would become his origin story. There are a lot of questions, but essentially by the end of the book, he isn't exactly the Snow we know. He's still got feelings, he's still quite emotional, he's still this man who is wanting to please other people. And Lucy Gray, on the other hand, just, I think her character ending was done poorly. Lucy Gray's character ending fell flat. If you know what I'm talking about. It's like, why did we kind of bother getting so invested in her just for that ending, which by the way was very abrupt between Snow and her to occur. Wasn't a fan, but here we are anyway. Something I really did appreciate though were the little allusions in this book that tied into the Hunger Games. For example, we see the origin of where the hanging tree song came from that Katniss sings as Rue is dying. I don't think that's a spoiler at this point. We all know that, right? Ooh, ice cream. Thank you. But on the flip side of that nice little tie-in, there were some clunky pieces of writing. For example, there is a depiction of depression, which I think was romanticized. It was only a real small snippet, but essentially, this won't spoil it because it's out of context, but Snow contemplates committing suicide because of something that has occurred, and on the very same page, he essentially gets talked out of it, and then he's like, okay, yeah, let's not do that. Like, it's such an easy thing to like decide not to do. I felt like it romanticized it, discredited how big of a suggestion that really is. Also keep in mind that there are a couple of hanging death scenes. There is also a lot of mention of, you know, stabbing people, and the Hunger Games that are in this book are just as gory as the Hunger Games in the other books. This is just turning into a snack review. Now we have something. That's good. It's like a Kit Kat but with chocolate orange on the outside. So with all of that being said, I enjoyed the book for the most part. There were little elements that made me like pull back a bit from giving it a 5 stars, but if you liked all of the Hunger Games books, I honestly think you'll like this. I am going to go and read and watch everyone else's reviews and just see what else other people are saying, if they agreed with me or not. If you have read this or you want to read this, leave me a comment on your thoughts or your predictions. I love engaging in those conversations with you. Sorry, this review might not have been the most eloquent one out there. I'm still learning how to do like a big verbal review. I'm learning. Be patient with me. But for now, if you've enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a cheeky like and subscribe down below, and enjoy all the places you go in your own reading adventures. See you in the next one. Bye.